It is August 6th, 2021. I really don't get they don't say the word Russia on TV much, let alone live footage. However, I'm watching this program, which I don't know who the manufacturer of this one is, at the Ad Council. However, this is what they reported, which I thought was a very interesting clip, not for location purpose, but for word.
A chilling sight, not from the last century, but last month. A possible...
See, now he says it's a chilling sight. That's where I'm gonna just whatever on that one.
Possible prison camp built inside Belarus for political prisoners. CNN obtained this footage of what witnesses said looked like a newly refurbished camp about an hour's drive from the capital, Minsk. A new sign saying, forbidden border and entry. A 3-layer fence, electrified, they said. New moving surveillance cameras, bars and reflective screens.
Smart men are inside, I don't know.
Rebuilt barracks. No prisoners yet. What looked like a soldier inside, and regular military patrols who told our witnesses outside to leave. One local talked to them anonymously. My friend Sasha, a builder, told me they've refurbished this place. He says, there are 3 levels of barbed wire and it's electrified. I was picking mushrooms here when a military man came up to me and said I can't walk here.
Sashito.
Of a former Soviet missile storage facility surrounded by forest. The repairs came not long after defecting police officers released secret recordings of senior police discussing the need for prison camps at several sites. Unsurprisingly, CNN hasn't gained access to the interior of the site, so we can't...
Hold on. I cannot read that name. I do not know what that says.
Unsurprisingly, CNN hasn't gained access to the interior of the site, so we can't definitively say that it is intended for use as a prison camp, but a Western intelligence official I spoke to said that use was, quote,
I mean, for me that's Russian, but some people, Great Britain, I don't know what the words they use, I'm not sure.
Its possible use by President Alexander Lukashenko's forces during future protests.
It's not surprising that he's trying to build something like a regular prison camp, because the new wave of protest will come up anyway. It can be triggered by his statement, it can be triggered by economic situation, but it will come. And he understands, and he also wants to be prepared more than last year in 2020. So this is why I will not be surprised if such camps are being built.
Belarusian officials declined to comment.
What I don't know who this man is, but what I do want to say is that the Americans where I'm being held, when you say the word prison camp, it's like they've never been to Crimea, so they spell the word for crime though like Crimea, but it's not a beautiful thing in America. According to the Americans. I don't know why, but I know that this is a point of confusion. I know that when Beautiful Russian says a prison camp, they mean to protect the officers, and to make it almost a base of protection so they can protect themselves in an area with a higher efficiency, and live not as frightened of the population, and they can control what comes in and comes out. I understand that, but when you speak Americans, they speak of such smart things in a completely different mannerism, and then they get lost in socialism and their social nuances, because in my area there's no social anything. There's no social club, there's no social community. There's no gatherings, there's no anything. It's just, and there's no fencing. It's just open chaos. But I know in other places, it is a lot more efficient, let's say, in protecting things that were not made public prior to the problem of we know something else bigger is going on, and there are certain things that need to be protected. There are certain really important people who know such things, and they don't need to say such things and come forward, because they know who and where they are, and at the right time, they'll convalesce. I don't know. I don't know what else to say. And I do not know this man's name. I do not know this calligraphy. I know it is a symbology or calligraphy that I don't have sounds for. I don't know. Je ne sais pas. Non so.
And have called the recording about camps fake news when it was released, saying they followed the law. These images emerge after a weeks-long crackdown against remaining independent media.
They're calling this Belarus? This doesn't look like Belarus.
Inside Belarus, the protest movement
Maybe this is, I don't know.
so hard it now holds remote flash mob demonstrations like these, filmed by drones. But some of it is finding ways to hit back. CNN
Now,
says.
I know that area with that, this is this.
Inside Belarus, the protest movement has been persecuted so hard
Hold on.
it now holds remote flash mob demonstrations like these,
Remote
filmed by drones.
flash mob.
But some of it is
This, there is a stone model somewhere in the world of large rock structures that can be seen from satellite. If you're hanging out on the moon with God and looking down, you could see this in Pixel Antilles. But this is this demonstration, I believe, is it also painted in rock formation somewhere, not in Nazca, is a different Perth, Peurth, but this is a different town and city. I've seen it before on Ancient Aliens. I just don't have the word for the cartographer, for the geographical unity. I'm unsure.
is finding ways to hit back, CNN has learned. These are railway saboteurs, apparently in action. They say their operations, the details of which we aren't disclosing, just trigger alarms that stop trains on the tracks, risking nobody's safety and causing traffic to slow down, they say. We spoke to one organiser. When our skies are blocked, he said, we should block the land as well. The main goal is to cause economic damage to the regime because all the delays cause them to pay huge fines. This action was...
All right, now, what I'm looking at are these right here. Those used to be wood, W-O-O-D, like a tree, like arbor. The tree, they used to be made of tree, T-R-E-E. This is not arborvitae, that's a plant, but arbor. An arbor is a tree, an arboretum is where there's trees, I believe. Anyway, they used to make these from trees. Now they make a chemical composite. My fear is that it does not absorb or have this signature for weather, W-E-A-T-H-E-R, the weather, for this climate change. When we had signature wood from Russia had its beautiful signature, America had its beautiful signature, and you could tell without argument and without a gunfight whose railway and whose product was on that railway, without a shadow of a doubt, you could tell because of the signature of the wood and how it absorbs sound. We did that purposely with this much potential for outreach and outbreak, and a really dangerous whatever that's protected for everybody else's at grid level. I do not know under whose command that this was allowed to replace the wood. It is dangerous. They now have this in New York City, in the U.S.A, in the U.S. Army area of country is United States of America. I think that's what they call the country at this point. I really don't even know. And then they say that it's statesman level of New York, Newyork, while I'm here without border and without prison camp, but I'm in an encampment, like a bird cage, like that invisible bird cage that we talked about. So I don't know whose design, but MTA, which is the Metropolitan Transit Authority in state of New York, replaced the original design with this civil uprising I wrote earlier of Eric Adams, Ericadams, dark skin. Нет спасибо. I mean, he's not my lineage. He's not my pick either. I don't know who put him in. But he was an ex-New York City police officer who got onto the force during a Civil War uprising in a dangerous schematic. So he was hired originally into the police force on a dishonorable mention, and he's worked his way up, and now he wants to be New York City mayor. But you started your career on a dishonorable mention. So now, and you've completely eradicated my kindred to keep me safe while I'm here and help out worldly things. How much, I mean, like, I know I can contribute no matter which way I go, but I'm just curious what they think their contribution is, being that they rose to power on dishonorable mention in New York and on the Northeast coast.
It was carried out, they said, on a key route from Russia to the European Union. CNN can't independently confirm it was effective. If there is an impact on rail traffic, it could have great significance outside of Belarus and here, Lithuania, because so many goods from the east rely on this network to get to Europe. Signs both sides could be adopting new, harsher tactics, and what may await fresh protests as the screws tighten.
Our thanks to Nick Payton-Walsh for that exclusive report. Well, now back to the U.S., where the Delta variant is surging as vaccination rates slow to a crawl in some states. The price is tragically high. Travis Campbell from Virginia
Delta.
thought that he was invincible. Now he's making videos from his hospital bed begging people to get
Delta
vaccinated.
is the Fa in Vietnam.
He's talking about the tough
I have heard.
conversations he's having
I
with his
can't.
family as he
That came through a gentleman who knew
Last night,
a woman.
I came to the realization that the chances of me not being able to give my daughter away at a wedding was greater than walking out. I had to make a phone call to my 14-year-old son, and I had to tell him what I thought my dream was of giving my daughter away at the altar. And I had to ask for his permission that if I didn't come home, that he would give my daughter away on her day.
So painful to watch and avoidable. Well, my next guest is doing everything he can to get his city vaccinated. Jamie Brainard is the mayor of Carmel in the Republican stronghold of Indiana. While the state is falling behind the rest of the U.S. for vaccinations, the city of Carmel is way ahead with about 80% of...
So that's where I'm at. This problem character that I'm going to write the name. There's no confirmation that he's mayor. It's rumor at the moment, RUMOUR. But I want for other area them to be on alert. Niet spasiba. And when I reference the northeast coast, this is what I'm referencing. From the Panhandle, that's Florida, all the way up to New York, right here. So this whole area has been infected with the railway problem of replacing wood with some composite and less than property that is actually hurting climate change, and it's the physics that bounce. They replaced it with something that makes it bounce more with the crystal effect, which is the crystal effect and an amplifier. And for me, and that's how you write my name. Right now, I'm not in this. Right now, it feels like this. And that's me. That's New York at the moment. It feels like the bouncing the waves. It's a problem. Today is August 6th, 2021. It's star 1978, star 8378, Nicole Cattaruzza.